station working for you. This is an RTV6 special report.
And good evening to you here at 11 o'clock. I'm Mark Mullins coming to you from my home as RTV6 practices social distancing.
And I'm Amanda Starantino in the RTV6 studio. We'll get to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic shortly. First, a look at some of the damage left behind by tonight's intense storm. This is a look at downtown Mooresville, where the front of a building has been torn down. Trees are also down in the area, and many buildings and homes are without power tonight. We have not received any reports of injuries, and this is video here sent to us by Josh Bell in Noblesville. You can see a trampoline flipping over a truck and into a driveway. We're going to get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory for a look at what we're dealing with the rest of the night. Kevin.
And the good news is our severe weather threat is over. Numerous reports of wind damage as we had wind gusts over 70 miles per hour in spots. I'll share that with you in the main weather. Cooler air is arriving, and gusty winds will continue. Non-thunderstorm winds overnight. Leading edge of the severe weather now through Cincinnati, Louisville, staying in Kentucky and moving away from central Indiana. A long line of thunderstorm warnings and isolated tornado warnings as well. Back to the Hoosier State, the rain will soon end between Greensburg and Cincinnati. From Seymour to Louisville will come to an end as well. Look at all of these reports, severe weather reports, lots of hail and wind damage reports. It will stay windy overnight, gusting 20 to 30 miles per hour, so that's some of the wind you may hear overnight.
And now to the latest, the toll the COVID-19 outbreak is having on Hoosier lives. Nearly 6,000 people have tested positive for the virus. More than 30,000 have been tested. 203 people have died. According to the Veterans Affairs Press Secretary, one patient who died was an employee at the VA Medical Center in Indianapolis. The department says 57 employees at Rotabush VA Medical Center have tested positive for the coronavirus.
RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers is staying on top of all the ways the coronavirus outbreak is impacting Indiana's workforce. Governor Holcomb says more help for Indiana businesses may be on the way to keep more Hoosiers employed. The governor says he is in constant contact with the federal government to provide more financial help for Hoosiers. He says on a phone call this week, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin indicated more assistance could be on the way to help small businesses continue to pay their staffs or even rehire employees that have been furloughed during the pandemic. That funding could come as soon as April 24th.
This is very important for Indiana, for our small businesses to continue to employ their workers right now. So when we do come out of this, their team, their experienced team is already in place, on the ground, not waiting.
The governor plans to reveal more on Friday during the state's coronavirus press conference.
Hiring Hoosiers is also shining a light on how local businesses are adjusting to stay afloat during the pandemic. Tony Cento, the owner of the shoe repair shop Cento Shoes, is now doing contact-free repairs. Customers can call or text him, and he will pick up your shoes from outside your front door, fix, and then return them back to your home. Cento says this new method will be key to staying in business. He tells us the work is out there. He just needs customers to know he's open.
It's all what you put in it, and you just gotta, be smart and be safe, but just keep reaching out to people.
Cento Shoes has been in business for 49 years. The shop is located just south of the Circle downtown. And we are sharing a Hiring Hoosiers success story. 2 weeks ago, RTV6 told you Senior One Care in Carmel was looking for caregivers. The facility specifically hoped to connect with the countless workers in the service industry who have abruptly lost their jobs. Since our story aired, the company has hired 15 new employees. We talked to a woman who learned about the Senior One Care positions through RTV6, applied, and got hired.
When I seen her interview, it just kind of touched on me because me and my family, we're people that are caring and like to do for others. It was just something that's always been instilled in me.
Senior One Care is still looking to hire. They are offering a free training course for personal care attendants that takes just 2 days to complete. We have details on the RTV6 News app. You can also find links to many other job opportunities and resources on our website at hiringhoosiers.com.
Many families are pushing senior living centers for more transparency during the COVID-19 outbreak. And at least 31 people have died in Indiana nursing homes and long-term care facilities as a result of the coronavirus, including ones in Madison and Johnson counties. Gloria Benefield's 91-year-old mother, Violet, is a resident at Greenwood Meadows. Gloria says a nurse told her some patients at that facility have tested positive for COVID-19. Now Gloria is worried about her mom and says she's stunned by the lack of information provided by Greenwood Meadows about the situation.
I got a call from her last night about 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and she was really, really distraught because she couldn't get any help, and nobody would come in and talk to her as to what was going on.
We reached out to American Senior Communities, which operates Greenwood Meadows. They did not respond to our question about COVID-19 at that facility, but said, quote, "The health and wellness of our residents and employees remains the top priority. We are in close contact with local and state health authorities and following their guidance along with the national and CDC recommendations and mandates." ASC also says they are screening every employee and vendor who comes into the building. Employees are wearing masks, and they have a strict no visitor policy except for end-of-life situations. If you're concerned about conditions at a facility, reach out to a state or local long-term care ombudsman that acts as a mediator between residents, their families, and facilities. We've included links on how to do this in this story on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Meanwhile, the state commissioner is ordering long-term care facility directors to report COVID-19 cases to local and state health departments within 24 hours. That includes cases involving both residents and workers.
We provided a checklist very early on to all of our facilities, emphasizing the importance of not only reporting this to your local and to your state public health officials, but making sure that your residents and their families were notified about the positive cases or deaths that occurred.
Coronavirus cases involving Indiana long-term care facilities account for 15% of the state's total COVID-19 deaths.
More than a dozen people at a senior living center in Franklin have tested positive for COVID-19. RTV6's Rafael Sanchez shows how the community is rallying to support residents and workers.
A caravan of people in their vehicles rolled around the Otterbein Senior Life Facility in Franklin. Their signs of support, reminding the staff and residents that they are loved, offering blessings, and hoping that they stay strong.
Praise the Lord.
Chaplain Perry Anderson arranged this event.
And I know that they've got to be struggling, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally as well. And that's what we want to encourage them in.
100-year-old Eleanor Ramsey had family outside who can't wait to see her.
I can't come see her, so I just want her to know I'm here.
Once the caravan went around Otterbein, the vehicle stopped and heard a prayer that was posted online. This another way to express gratitude and connect until the day COVID-19 is the pandemic of the past. Working for you in Franklin, in Johnson County, Rafael Sanchez, RTV6.
And now to the latest coronavirus deaths, illnesses, and recoveries around the world and country. There are more than 1.5 million cases globally, including more than 431,000 in the United States. The international death toll is more than 88,000, including more than 14,000 deaths in the U.S. More than 329,000 patients have recovered from the virus around the world, including more than 23,000 recoveries in the U.S. And at today's White House briefing, Dr. Anthony Fauci said social distancing efforts to slow the spread of the disease are working.
We know now for sure that the mitigation that we have been doing is having a positive effect, but you don't see it until weeks later. Remember this past weekend when all of us got up in front of this podium and mentioned that this was going to be a really bad week. At the same time, we were saying that we would hope we would start to see a little bit of a change in the daily hospitalizations, intensive care, and intubations. And New York is starting to see that. So I say that, but I drop back a bit. Don't get complacent about that.
Politics also came up during the briefing. President Trump was asked about the Supreme Court decision that allowed the Wisconsin primary to happen Tuesday.
The Supreme Court, of course they were right, because what the Democrats wanted, and you know what this happened, I supported a man named Justice Kelly, who's Daniel Kelly, highly respected justice. And I supported him just the other day, social media. I know of him. He's just a fantastic justice. And I endorsed him. And as soon as I endorsed him, they wanted to move the election.
Former Vice President Joe Biden held a virtual town hall tonight. He had a different opinion about the primary.
We shouldn't have had the election in the first place. The in-person election. It should have been all mail ballots in. It should have been moved in a way that 5 other states have done it. It's the idea didn't have enough poll workers in over 100 and some polling places in Milwaukee. But this was all about Republican legislature pushing really, really hard to maintain and make sure they had an election, because I think they know that low turnout affects their interest.
Biden is now on a clear path to the Democratic presidential nomination. Senator Bernie Sanders dropped out of the race today.
New and next, a central Indiana college student who may have contracted COVID-19 while studying overseas is back home and sharing his story with RTV6.
And a high-end hotel restaurant had to furlough most of its employees due to the impact of the pandemic, but the kitchen is not quiet. House chefs are working together with local groups to feed people in need.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
I just wanted to share my story because I didn't really see a lot of individual perspectives on people who had firsthand experience kind of dealing with the virus.
Elliot Choi, a college student from Carmel, is back home from a study abroad trip cut short by the coronavirus pandemic. Tonight, he's sharing with RTV6's Cornelius Hawker what he experienced in Spain after having a likely case of coronavirus.
This is video of Elliot Choi getting swabbed by a Spanish healthcare worker to see if he has coronavirus.
My roommate Luke and I both had a fever for like 2 days. I had chills. I had a headache, sore throat for about a week.
Telltale signs of the virus, which makes sense because he and his roommate hung out with someone who tested positive. Elliot's 2-week quarantine in Barcelona, Spain began as the pandemic got worse.
A week ago, we had 200 cases in Spain.
Yeah, it's like,
and now what is it at? Yeah. It's like over 2,000 now.
As cases and deaths started to rise, so did the anxiety of Americans in Europe facing travel restrictions. But thankfully, Elliot made it back home. That's where I talked to him in his room, where he quarantined himself for another 3 weeks to keep his family safe.
Being in Spain and seeing that, everyone in the Barcelona airport was wearing a face mask, and then coming to the U.S. and seeing that, even the airport employees weren't wearing any protection, that was really kind of surprising to me. And it made me realize kind of the difference between the general sentiment about the virus in Europe versus even here in the States.
With more than 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, Elliot knew it was important to share his story to get people to start taking the coronavirus pandemic seriously.
It's just important to do your part and stay at home.
It's been right around 3 weeks since he took that test in Spain, and he still hasn't gotten his results. He tells me he doesn't think he ever will. And back here in the U.S., he tried to get tested, but he ran into roadblocks like lots of folks are. He was told that it had been too long since he had symptoms, since he'd been in contact with someone who was positive. And he was also told that the place where he was trying to get tested actually didn't have any tests. Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, RTV6.
An intense night of storms across central Indiana. This is what the crew of Engine 341 with the Carmel Fire Department experienced while responding to a call. Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory joins us now with a look at what you can expect the rest of the night. I think that was a similar situation we saw across central Indiana, Kevin.
The sound of that, if you're in a vehicle, is deafening and it grabs your attention. We had anywhere from pea to marble-sized hail or larger, and it was widespread. All part of this. the transition from nearly 80 today to temperatures tomorrow that will struggle just to reach 50 degrees. That is a huge temperature change, and we won't be our coolest until we get to Friday. Putnam County Airport measured a 76-mile-per-hour wind gust. About 20 minutes later, Indianapolis International Airport with a 71-mile-per-hour gust. The winds will stay strong tonight. They're not thunderstorm winds, and they'll be 20 to 30 miles per hour. They're bringing in the colder air. Bye-bye there. The thunderstorms are progressing along Interstate 74 from Greensburg to Cincinnati, ending our severe weather threat. 47 in Gary, 59 in Bloomington, where you were at 82 this afternoon. Temperatures in the low 60s down along the Ohio River. Let's talk about tomorrow. Obviously, the biggest change, the fact that temperatures will be 30 degrees cooler. You'll definitely dress differently. The wind will stay strong through the day. Temperatures struggle to hit 50. Sunshine in the morning, but clouds will increase in the afternoon, maybe a couple of rain showers too, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see a melting snowflake by tomorrow evening. There are the wind gusts to 40 miles per hour through the day tomorrow, a cold northwest wind. There are the temperatures to the north, missing 50 degrees, should be in the upper 40s most places, lower 50s as you get south of Indianapolis, but that's a full 30 degrees colder than today. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you begin to see these showers popping up. That's a result of the colder air coming in from the northwest and hinting that we could see a snowflake or two melting tomorrow night, and I think Monday night of next week and Tuesday may well see the same thing. Friday planner, temperatures even cooler in the 40s for highs. We'll start frosty temperatures first thing Friday morning. Afternoon temperatures will be in the 40s. Your Easter weekend forecast, Saturday 55, we're dry. On a Sunday 61 with showers likely, especially as we get later in the day on Easter Sunday. Temperature 53 Monday. Temperatures fall off after that Tuesday and Wednesday, and all indications are we'll end the month of April with well below average temperatures.
Kevin, thank you. Today, Indianapolis public schools distributed thousands of laptops to students. The district says high school students and some middle schoolers are taking classes that depend on a full e-learning plan in order to earn credit. Superintendent Alicia Johnson says the goal is to eventually provide even more students with equipment.
We were operating with a 3-to-1 ratio of students to devices. So certainly our students were engaging with technology pretty regularly, but we had not yet moved to a 1-to-1. We are in very deep planning to make that transition over the course of the next few months.
IPS surveyed families to determine which students needed to borrow a laptop. The district also received a donation to buy nearly 1,500 mobile hotspot devices for families who do not have internet access. A reminder, IPS is still distributing meals to students in need, but only on Mondays and Wednesdays now. Cars lined up outside of Arlington Woods on the east side today as volunteers provided meals. You can find IPS distribution sites and times on our website, theindychannel.com.
Many local organizations are also working together to help feed the community during this difficult time. Today, the Kristen Moore House on the near west side of Indianapolis hosted an Easter basket giveaway. Dozens of families received a meal box, activity packet, household and hygiene items.
Together, being in Hallville, working with our neighborhood community partners, we want to make sure that our neighbors are taken care of.
A community ambassador helped make the giveaway possible. Kristen Moore House provides educational services, senior programming, and more to people who live in Hawville and the near west side. And the United Way, the nonprofit group Second Helpings, and the Alexander Hotel are also working together to help provide food to people in need. The hotel restaurant has transformed into a satellite kitchen for Second Helpings and other businesses and organizations. The restaurant's chefs say they're preparing the same type of meals as the ones they would serve to their usual guests.
You're not lowering the standards at all. No, not at all. That's something that we've really strived to. You know, Chef and I sat down and talked, and we don't want to make it just okay. Everybody deserves a really good meal. Every single person deserves something the best of our ability. You know, so we've done our part in making it as good as we can possibly do, and stuff that we eat. You know, if we're going to make it, we want to eat it.
Second Helping says before COVID-19, the organization delivered around 22,000 meals a week to the community. This week, the group is on track to deliver 50,000 100,000 meals thanks to satellite kitchens. RTV6 is also working together with the United Way of Central Indiana. We are teaming up for the COVID-19 Community Economic Relief Fund. The initiative supports organizations that serve people and families affected by the pandemic. You can donate to the fund by texting HELP 2020 to 91999 or by visiting the website you see on your screen, covid19cerf.org.
A church in Carmel is working together through worship. The Well Church hosted a service today in the IU Health Methodist Hospital parking lot to pray for patients of those on the front lines of the pandemic. Earlier this week, the church held a similar service at St. Vincent Hospital.
It was amazing. We were right on the ground floor in the parking lot. Everybody stayed nicely away from each other, and yet people came out of the hospital and were worshiping with us. We met a lady who had a family member there who's got COVID-19, and she was just so thankful that we were there.
Matthew Doubt says the congregation plans on holding services outside of local hospitals for as long as they are allowed. We want to hear more stories of communities working together during this difficult time. Share them by emailing us at workingforyou@rtv6.com. We'll be right back.
From the station working for you, this is an RTV6 special report.
A downtown Indianapolis pastry shop that specializes in colorful sweet treats is still serving customers. RTV6's Brad Brown shows you, like many other local businesses, this shop is also finding ways to give back to those serving on the front lines of the pandemic.
In baking circles, these tiny bits are a tough cookie to master. But the crew at Indy's Macaron Bar on Mass Ave have pretty much perfected the process.
It's a great opportunity to serve customers who are still looking for something to enjoy in this time. And it also is helping us keep as much of our staff employed as possible, which is really important to us, that we keep a paycheck in the hands of our staff that we can.
2 pillowy soft wafers with just the right amount of sweetness sandwiched in the middle. Nathan Sivitz and his bakery wizards continue to put together hundreds every day.
We were looking for ways we could contribute and keep operating, keep our bakers busy, and this was a great way, I think, to do that.
They're sharing these sweet treats with medical personnel all over the region. You can donate a dozen or several dozen macarons to workers who deserve a little something extra.
Pretty much everybody we know probably has somebody in their lives, a family member, somebody they know that is in healthcare, working either on the front lines or at a doctor's office or wherever. And we knew that it was one small way we could help those folks.
Macaron Bar has their menu available for takeout and delivery, and demand continues to be high.
Since we've opened it up to allow our customers to also contribute to that effort, there's been a great response there too, and people are really looking for ways they can give back while they're at home, maybe not able to help out directly.
Macaron Bar has already donated more than 4,000 cookies to local medical staffs. They also have locations in Louisville, Pittsburgh, Cincinnati, and Columbus. By the way, May 23rd is known as Macaron Day. Hopefully by then we can all get together to enjoy a treat. Working for you, Brad Brown, RTV6.
You can find everything you need to know about the COVID-19 pandemic anytime on our website, theindychannel.com/coronavirus. That includes resources for people who are unemployed and small businesses.
Storms are over. No more storms overnight. You'll hear the wind, though, rattle the windows a bit as we have gusts over 30. Tomorrow in the 40s in the morning, barely hitting 50 in the afternoon.
Well, thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. GMI starts at 4:30. Good night.